Howdy, Billy Eli here. And today I want to talk to you guys about generational damaging behavior or turning into your parents. When I was a young man, I was friends with a group of other young men in a small town in southeast Texas. And we all had, complaints and gripes about our parents, like all young adults will. But, some of the ones that jumped out at me were when my parents are too controlling. They won't let me grow up, or my parents are too authoritarian. They want to, keep cracking the whip, or whatever it was. It was causing an issue between, my peers and their parents. So it was 15 years or so later, I was back in my hometown visiting my own parents, and I ran into a couple of those guys that had been in that group, and we got to talking, and they're telling me about their lives and their families and their kids. And a funny thing has happened in this 15-year interim. They have morphed into their parents. They've turned into the thing that they didn't like that their parents did to them. And I wasn't a clinical psychologist then, but I was kind of a smart ass. So, I brought up, man, isn't that the same thing you hated, when your parents did to you? And they easily dismissed that it was that was an entirely different thing, that it was totally different, but what they did and what their parents did, or else they had bought into their parents' line of thinking. Well, my parents had to come down on me hard because I was wild, or I was hard to handle, or I was a handful, and there's a cognitive dissonance in there that it doesn't follow logic and it doesn't follow reason. And I think the reason that you have generational damaging behavior that damages relationships between generations. First of all, we learn what we see. So these friends of mine that I'm talking about, by the time they were in their mid late 30s and they have their own kids that they're dealing with, well, they had a lifetime of seeing that behavior among their parents, and who knows what it is, whatever the issue that caused conflict in that family, that's normal to them. They've seen that thousands of times. They can run that script and that scenario in their sleep. They've seen it so much. So even though it's dysfunctional, it feels comfortable. And the second thing that I noticed, and this is an observation that I made with some of the young men that at that point we were middle-aged men, but them morphing into their parents, it was a way for them to get approval from their own parents by emulating their parenting styles and those same behaviors. Even though they had hated them, by emulating their parents, they got parental approval. And, some of them had been waiting for that their whole life. And those are powerful motivators. But saying, well, the thing I hated, when I was a young adult, when I had lived long enough and was a middle-aged adult, well, I understood then that my parents did this thing that I hated because, well, I was a handful, or except, therein lies the root of generational anger and anxiety issues, and you don't have to morph into your parents' bad behaviors. Choose the good things. I'm sure almost everybody's parents had some positive aspects to their parenting style, so go with that. Anyway, I wanted to put that out there. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Thank you.